Alex, one of the things that I think some of these players feed off of is engagement on the ice. We're seeing Reeves, obviously, with his Halloween comical act in the U-Haul box in the hallway, kind of getting into it with teammates as well. But how much do we need to see these guys take that engagement with their teammates off the ice and bring it onto the ice, kind of maybe add to that physical play, get themselves more involved in the game, and maybe that can turn into some more offensive production?
All I'm gonna say as of right now is that it's October, and I hate to be the it's early guy, but honestly, like, and maybe this is just coming from the perspective of someone who was a fan before I was a writer slash podcaster slash whatever you want to call me, but watching this team do the exact same thing every year in October, especially the past couple of years in October, the script has literally been the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be bothered to overthink it anymore. Honestly, like I'm at a point where if we get to the end of November and Bertuzzi and Domi and Klingberg and Reeves we're still talking about the same things we're talking about right now for those four players, then yeah, shit's gonna, like, we need to figure something out. But ultimately, the Leafs actually had a better October than they did in last year or the year before. And everything that's been said about the new acquisitions is valid. I mean, Tyler Bertuzzi, I'm convinced that he's working through an injury or something because he just hasn't looked himself yet.
Mm-hmm.
Max Domi.
But he still looks good.
Yeah.
Despite
he does look good. Yeah. He just, the points haven't been coming.
Yeah.
Max Domi, I think, has been, I mean, he's had his good games and his bad. You can see there are instances where he wants to get his team into the game, and I think he's still kind of trying to find a home on the team. John Klingberg, I've been a big defender of his, and I think that, I was honestly on his side and, pushing for the positives of bringing in a guy like that and improving the defense on the back end. But I will say that if we're looking at a guy whose defense is so bad that he has to be sheltered on the first pairing, and then it gets to the point where I don't even know if this is going to happen, but if he gets removed from power play one and the Leafs are paying $4 million for a guy who's on the bottom pairing and not contributing that much offense, especially on the power play, I mean, it's going to be really hard to justify his position on the team and his role. But that being said, October, I'm willing to give these guys more than 1 month before I can say with confidence that they're an issue. And Reeves, it's honestly just a matter of doing what he did in the first two games. Like that's literally all there is to it. I guarantee you, had he dropped the gloves once between the second game of the season or the third game of the season, I should say, and last night's game, I don't think anyone's talking about this because no one cared about Reeves' numbers the first couple games. He was just as bad on the ice against Montreal and against Minnesota in those first two games as he has been for the other 7 games that they've played. Difference is that in those first 2 games, he was throwing his body, he was hitting everything that moves, and he was fighting. And that's what he's brought here to do. We've seen the tough guy experiment fizzle out with a number of guys in Toronto. I was willing to give Reeves a chance because he has established his reputation as a tough guy for the past 10 years or the entire time he's been in the league. And I think he's more of that type than I think Simmons was, or even Kyle Clifford was. But it hasn't been there since the second game of the season. So I need to see more from him. But again, I'm going to keep falling back on the fact that it is October and it's early, and the Leafs do this every year. Honest to God, guys, like I tweeted this out today. What do the Leafs have in common right now that they had in 2022 and 2021? One goalie out of the two that's really struggling. 2021, it was Mrazek. 2022, it was Murray. 2023, it's Samsonov, right? Every year in October, we're talking about Mitch Marner and how he hasn't found his game yet. Never finds his game in October. The fourth line is doing cardio. The fourth line did cardio last year. You really think that fourth line of Albe Kubel, Aston Reese, and Kampf put in work last year? Like, so you see what I mean? Like, it's the exact same. It's not even just this team has struggled in October. It's the exact same struggles every single time. And every single time they've rattled off a fucking 9-game win streak in November or something like that. And all the fans abandoned every single worry that they ever had and that they voiced in the month of October. So, I guess the long story short, ask me again how I'm feeling about those guys in November, because again, if it's anything like last year, they're going to go on a heater in November, and they're going to erase a lot of the concerns that we've had since then.